scene. Okay. All right. Yes. Welcome, people.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Greetings.
Come on, peace.
The camera's gone to the wide one now.
I don't know.
Let's make sure it's all cooking. We're cooking with gas.
Are we? Let's go back to Rodney again. And
No,
then it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be a fault.
It's a StreamYard fault. Oh wait, hang on. No.
No, go to the water Rodney. So I think it's right now.
Well, it's not gone live.
Let's see.
Yeah, this one's not live. The other one is like for watching. This one says upcoming. If you come out of it, right, it says upcoming on the screen on the bottom right. Whereas the other one, oh, that's the crimes of. Are we wrong about Paul Kagame on the right hand side? Oh, that one says upcoming as well.
Well, it does now. It was live before.
It was live, wasn't it? It was.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey!
Excellent.
Alright.
Oh yeah. Just
Alright,
Alright, cool. Do you know what? That was bloopers.
Thank you, Set. Yeah, Set Imhotep.
That was set. Yes,
We're live. Thank you.
Give thanks, Set. Yeah. Yeah, I know you might have tuned in for the "Are we right or wrong about Paul Kagame?" but you're in for a righteous surprise.
That's not even today.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's not even today.
You just tuned in anyway because I seen him. He normally pops in for Shakra shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome. This is Revolutionary Minds on Kimbunga Media, and you're with Stella B.
And Nat Nye, the lyrical alchemist.
And Nate, the lyricist.
Yes, we're here today to talk about the great
Walter Rodney.
Walter Rodney.
Revolutionary scholar.
Yes, an absolute
genius.
gem.
Powerful man in our community.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm very grateful that we've chosen Walter Rodney. Because Walter Rodney is a different kind of revolutionary from the other revolutionaries we studied. You know. Well, first, should we just clear up? I'm going to let everyone know what it is that we're doing.
Yes.
Those who are here for the first time.
Yes.
So we started an event at Auntie Jean's African Culture Market. She's been running this market for the last 10 years now. Currently it's at London Bridge, Magdalen Hall, and it's on the third Sunday of every month. Yeah. She's been running this Pan-African marketplace. They sell copper and like clothes and food, and they have different speakers come. And each month, we choose a different revolutionary. We spend the month studying them, and we write poetry about them, and we perform it at Auntie Jean's African Culture Market. So, we've done some powerful revolutionaries up until this point. To name a few, we've done Steve Biko, we've done Thomas Sankara, Queen Amana Renas, Winnie Mandela, We've done about 18... Patrice Lumumba. Dessalines. What? We've done
Harriet Tubman.
18 so far. 19 months, 18 revolutionaries.
Yes.
Yeah. So our next revolutionary, the person that we're studying at the minute, is Walter Rodney. And wow, this has been a month. Yeah. So again, one thing I like to say at the beginning of these is Disclaimer, yeah, because I know that Walter Rodney is a serious brother, and I know that a lot of people are going to have different opinions on him and on his beliefs, and I want to say that my beliefs are not even complete, yeah, because I've spent 1 month studying this brother. I tried to read How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. I got less than a quarter of the way through. Let me tell you, I underestimated that book. I thought I could read that book in a month. I was like, yeah, I'll swallow this book. No way. I need a highlighter pen. I need to take notes on the side. I need to cross-reference because that book is so meaty, so powerful, so full of information. I'm really grateful that we've chosen to study him. Most of the research I've done this month has come from YouTube. I've watched members of the community speaking about him. I've heard him speaking. Or someone reading out one of his speeches, and things like that. And I've read a little bit of How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. So I'm suitably prepped for today, but it is important that I say to anyone who's watching, some of you guys probably know more about Walter Rodney than I do. So feel free to chime in the comment section, give us some gems, help us. we are trying to learn. Yeah, that is why we are here. We're here to study and to honor our ancestors,
Through poetry,
to respect them, to let them know, do you know what I mean, that we see them, that they keep their spirit alive, keep their names in our mouths, empower our community. We've got babies who are going to be writing poetry about Walter Rodney. We have elderlies who are going to be writing poetry about Walter Rodney. That is what we're doing. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Thank you for, you know, encouraging us. Thank you for supporting us. Feel free to drop any gems in the comment section if you have them.
Yes, absolutely.
This is a community show, community vibe. So with what Nate the lyricist is saying, yeah, we're poets.
No, poets are a big deal, you know. A lot of these writers and these amazing revolutionary minds were poets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Big up to Anthony as well. Last time you came through, you were dropping the gems, so we appreciated you last time for. Were you dropping the gems for? Was it Dead and Kamafi? Oh no, who was it?
Okay.
It was last time.
Oh, it was Dead and Kamafi.
No, last time.
It was Dandara.
Dandara. I think it was Dandara. Anthony was dropping in the gems. So we give thanks to you, for
come on, give thanks. Thank
for
you
your
for coming
presence
back
again.
Yeah, man.
So we're gonna have a great show, and I think these conversations is very important because when it comes to liberation and revolution of our people wherever we are in the world, there's been many different strategies and means to actually achieving the liberation. And Walter Rodney went down the communist, Marxist
one of the
elements.
One of the ways that
he went down that route. He thought that was the route to go, isn't it? And in terms of the book, we're talking about a scholar here. We're talking about academic. That's what we're talking about.
But his real thing was Pan-Africanism. I just want to point that out. And also that he was an extreme philosopher. So he was always studying what was going to be the right means. And from my understanding, from the little bits that I picked up, he from the age of 24 already had his master's from SOAS. So he studied in Jamaica first, then he was in SOAS, and he got a first-class degree in the history that he was studying. And when he came to SOAS, he also got a first class, and he got his master's by the age of 24. So he's very highly intellectual, became a teacher.
Yeah.
And I think in all of that learning and in his teaching, he then was able to note that, you know what, this learning that I'm doing about the Soviet Union at the time, the Russian communist movement, can apply to Africa and to his people, to our people. And so therefore he applied that learning to our people. So then he became truly a Pan-Africanist. So that's really what I would label him, more than only calling him a communist.
No, thank you for that correction. He deserves to be described as a Pan-African first and foremost.
That was his true.
And that is an interconnection. In fact, it doesn't go without saying, but every one of the revolutionary minds are
Pan-Africans. Yeah. That's the intention, because obviously we are Pan-Africans ourselves, or Black nationalists, you know, or race first, or however you want to title it. But you know, we in that bracket, So that's the type of history that we're interested in here. That's the type of revolutionaries that we're looking to study. I'm not so interested in Chinese revolutionaries, you know, even though I am interested in learning about them, but not within the context of this event or on this platform. I will say that's one of the things that I think has really set Walter Rodney apart from some of the other revolutionaries that we studied, because you know, with Dandara dos Palmeiras that we were looking at last month, she was, you know, born into Colombo, and she was born into a fight, and she was fighting, and she was raised to fight. She was taught capoeira, you know, with Dedan Kemafi, you know, the British came and they went into the forest and they were letting off weapons. Do you know what I'm saying? But Walter Rodney was a revolutionary scholar, and that I feel like sets him apart from a lot of the other revolutionary minds that we've studied so far. I mean, a lot of them have been, of course, intellectuals. Do you know what I'm saying? Like 100%,
Because even Dedan was writing, right?
All of them.
I'd say Patrice Lumumba is more of a
Yeah.
politician than a scholar.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's a revolutionary politician. Yeah. Same with like Winnie Mandela. Do you know what I mean? Like it's no one saying that she's not intelligent, but Walter Rodney was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
That was his thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So he was going into class and he was radicalizing. He was putting people, you know what I mean? He was like waking people up, one person at a time.
So shout out all the teachers, man.
So he was similar to Steve Biko.
Yes,
Steve
Steve
Biko. I was thinking
Biko.
about
True.
Steve
Steve Biko and Booker T.
And Booker T and Booker T.
Yes, Booker T.
And Booker T.
Yes,
Yes.
True.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. Fits into that category.
Yeah.
So I've got a spot for the scholars because I love to read. I love to learn. That is, the beating heart behind this event is that we're people who like to learn. Yeah. In the UK, we're not currently in a position where we have to sit there with a rifle and run outside and shoot people for trying to chase us down the street. We're not in that position.
I mean, it feels like it's coming.
We're not far from it, but we're not in it. Yeah. We're in a position where we can go into schools and educate young black children and tell them about what's going on. Speaking of which, actually, I did a workshop. I'm doing another workshop tomorrow at Westside Young Leaders Academy, talking about this. And I did one last week at Lewisham Young Leaders Academy, just to kind of introduce them to this concept. So hopefully some of them will be coming to the event. I'm going to start a monthly Zoom with them. So I'll be going on Zoom probably like the week before Auntie Jean's Market. And I'll just see whoever from Westside Young Leaders Academy, Lewisham Young Leaders Academy, and the African Bantu Saturday School. And any other schools as we go, I'm going to try and go to as many different schools as I can. And I'm going to get them to join the Zoom. So that's the plan. I'm going to do a regular Zoom, and I'm going to get these young people, boom. So now we're doing Walter Rodney. Come and join us on the Zoom, talk about Walter Rodney. And then next month we're doing someone else. Come and join us. Let's talk about that person. And then as many as I can get to come consistently, that will be excellent. That's the intention. But I have a soft spot for the scholars, because I'm someone who really values education, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are as well.
Yeah.
I'm someone who values education.
Yeah. And you know what is key is Walter Rodney wrote children's books as well.
Yeah, 2 of them.
2 were published, but he actually wrote quite a few apparently, according to an interview that I was just watching beforehand. So, and they, some of them are available, 2 of them are available. But they were also talking about updating some of his books or some of his philosophies and maybe releasing more of these books for the children. But on that point, he understood that uniting the working class was the key. That was his understanding. And by a certain age, whoa.
I just saw that.
What was that?
I don't know.
Oh, give thanks. I think that was some sort of phrase. But yeah, yeah. Thanks for the balloons. Like, keep them coming. But yeah, he understood that, getting to the young people is key, because when you shape them from young to understand who they are and their history and their role they play in changing things, well, that's it. That's you're winning, because a lot of us, when we reach a certain age, we're set in our ways, or we're too tired now, or I don't know, like just all sorts of things. So the youth is really key. And him being a teacher, he knew that. So he didn't only do all of the scholarly stuff and teach very well and eloquently, I've heard, to the elders. He was like, let me get the young ones too. Let me get them all.
So his big thing was Marxism, right? That was we're not there yet.
Before we dive into that,
come on in,
because we're giving a flavour. So can we just do like a chronological breakdown?
Go for it, bro.
What do you know? Okay, so he was born, this is what I know, 23rd of March 1942, which makes him
that was that 23rd of March. Was it Aries?
He's an Aries. Unfortunately, he was assassinated.
Where was he born?
Where was he born? In Guyana. He's from Guyana, everyone. Like, come on, facts.
Guyana. Yeah.
This was like a test.
No, it's good. This is what we were.
And actually, we're going to have a screening at Auntie Jean's of the film, which is called Walter Rodney, What They Don't Want You to Know, and it features people like Angela Davis, who might be in a revolutionary moment we might study one day. But yeah, He was born in Ghana. So we're going to have a talk from Michelle Yar-Santua, Dr. Michelle Yar-Santua, who was also from Guyana. So she's going to bring in some information, some books. She may bring in some food to taste. We'll see, but...
Hey, don't miss it.
Come, guys.
Don't miss it.
So you're going to watch a great screening of a top-class movie all about him.
I have seen this movie.
You've seen it?
Yeah,
okay,
Black
cool.
History Studies did a screening of it a few months back.
Mm-hmm.
After you told me we were going to do it, I was like, let me get a little head start.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it's good, right?
It's good.
Excellent.
Very good. Very good. Very, very.
I think it's a female director, isn't it?
Wow.
I think so, yeah. And
I mean,
else.
yeah.
2 of them.
Amazing, honestly. It's really, really worth the watch. If you haven't seen it, come and see it. And if you're not local and you can't come to Auntie G's to watch it, then try and find the nearest place where you can watch it.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a watch.
It's we're in partnership for the day with the New Black Film Collective, who are someone also you should check out if you're not aware of who they are. Okay, and then you want a chronological timeline. What else can I tell you? Oh, yeah, so I was telling you a little bit about his education. So he was educated in Jamaica, as in that's where he got his first degree. And what else?
He had a good relationship with the Rasta community.
Yes. Okay, so that's in Jamaica where he studied and got his degree, his first class degree. He began to move and relate to the people there, the people.
Yeah.
And he understood that the things that he was learning about needed to apply to the working class and the people there. So, you know, in that time, I think it was 1968. I don't want to mix up times and dates. I don't have a chronological way to break this down, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
too many.
It's okay.
There's too many.
Fine.
I've made notes, but I don't want to say chronologically because I know they're not chronological.
Okay.
But he's known as a guerrilla academic.
No. Okay.
A guerrilla academic.
Guerrilla academic.
Yeah.
It's a good.
That's his description. You know. And one thing I want to say is these people, like these Marcus Garvey types, they travel. They're well traveled. This is a key thing about understanding why they get a good picture of the world, and they know that it's not just about the attacks that are happening to one group of people alone. We have to understand that there's an elite group that's attacking everybody, and the best bet is to come together and fight that group at the top. So he was very much about.
That was his message. That was what I got from his message as well.
Yeah,
So,
That's such a good point about well-travelled, and it's something that is very misunderstood, I think, because of what we have access to. So what we have access to is documentaries and very limited information, like in terms of when we grew up in school and stuff like that, right? So we just have a perception we were in chains, then we were subjugated, and then Martin Luther King came, and the end. That was that. Like now we are where we are. We get to travel, but during those times of colonization, our people was very much traveling and acquiring this knowledge, understanding where we are at. So that's a good point to mention, because with the travel you get a world view. And that's what happened with each of these powerful revolutionaries.
Yeah. Is there anyone making any points?
There is. Basically, he also travelled to Tanzania.
Yes.
Yes, he did Dar es Salaam. Yeah.
Yes. And that's another place where he was radical. He was also radicalized. So yeah.
Give thanks, Anthony, for that comment. He spent 5 years as a professor at the university. So he's in the motherland.
Yeah.
Who was the leader at the time when he was in Tanzania? Was it
60s?
60s. When was that? Who was the leader? It's not coming to me. I'm not going to say the wrong name.
Is someone asked?
No, I'm asking. Because it could be somebody else, another revolutionary mind. Because, we know Africa had several of these revolutionary leaders straight out of independence that were murdered, assassinated. This is Anthony, you are the MVP. Actually, do you know what? We might have to invite you up. Yes, Julius Nyerere. That who was Julius Nyerere.
Nyerere.
Yeah, he was another one of these powerful African leaders that was taken out. But let me just go back to Anthony, because Anthony is, you might as well just join us, you know.
Join us, man.
Yeah, if you've got the chronological breakdown, give thanks. Walter Rodney's book, smaller book, Rounding with My Brothers, is a gem too.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's the book that Maya read.
Okay.
And she said that because I was telling her there's no way I'm going to finish how Europe underdeveloped Africa before Auntie G's market. And she said she might be able to finish. She said she's almost finished Groundings with My Brothers. So that's probably the book I should have got this month. I reckon I could have swallowed that one in a month.
Right.
You know. So that is, yeah, I'm hearing that one's a gem. You might have posted some excerpts of that in the group chat. So we've got a couple bits in there, and what I've read has definitely been good. But you know, he was a very good speaker. He's a very good writer. You know, so yeah. But we're going to get into what we've got from the books in a minute.
Many black socialists call themselves Rodneyists to distinguish themselves from European Marxism.
Ooh, I've never heard that before.
That's similar to Nkrumahism.
Yeah,
right?
similar to Nkrumahism. I've never heard of a Rodneyist, and I would have expected I would have heard that this month, but I've not. That's the first time I'm hearing that term.
No, in his writings, he talked about Nkrumah a lot as well.
Yeah, he did.
Nkrumahism as well, and talked about the evolving of
the evolution of Nkrumah.
Yeah, all of those things.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And in 1968, at the university in Jamaica, riots broke out after he was banned from teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
He was
they
banned
banned him from coming back into Jamaica. They said because he was a communist. Yeah.
And because he was riling people up.
Yeah.
And they weren't
but then
like
the riots, the Rodney riots, that's what I found interesting, because the Jamaicans of today may not even know about. They will think of the first Rodney riots. They'll think of the American ones in 1992, but they don't know about 1968 when riots broke out, because for 5 days they were infuriated at the fact that Walter Rodney wasn't allowed back in to teach. So they protested.
It's amazing. I mean, that's a mark of respect. That is a serious badge of respect. If I couldn't perform in Jamaica and they protested, you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing for the rest of my days. Yeah, that is it. Do you know what I'm saying? That is a flex. So, I mean, that just goes to show the impact that he was having and the impact that he would have had if his life hadn't been cut short.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it shows like how powerful his impact was. Like, knowledge empowers, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Just like someone coming and saying, listen, look at this, and opening your eyes and putting you onto something can really change
Your life.
the power structure. Do you know what I mean? The world. It can change the world. Yeah, man. So Walter Rodney was definitely on that path, and I think it's really important that anyone who hasn't heard of him, or anyone who doesn't know his story, at least take a couple teaspoons. Do you know what I mean? Of Walter Rodney, definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're studying him.
So Marxism.
You want to go into Marxism?
Yeah. Marxism.
You want to go into Marxism?
We have to.
Yeah.
We can't avoid it. We can't not go into Marxism.
Okay.
So I don't feel like I really wrap my head around it, because you know it's a new concept for me. Yeah, this time last month I didn't know what I said on Kimbunga Media. I said I don't know like barely anything about Marxism. It's not something I've ever studied. It's not something I've ever been interested in. I have heard Walter Rodney break it down over the course of this month, and he broke it down very well. And I am kind of still wrapping my head around it. So Nat is probably the most well versed on what Marxism is. Yeah, exactly. Do you want to take us there?
I do want to take us there. Like, I'm not fresh in the mind of it, but okay. What I'll do is like basically we have a political spectrum. So left versus right, or no, not left versus right. That's normally what happens. But you have left wing and you have right wing. Right wing is what we understand as fascism, nationalist, which means you're very, very patriotic. When most people think of nationalism, they think of Hitler.
So I was thinking,
not national, not national, fascism. When you think of fascism, you think of Nazis.
I was thinking Mussolini.
And nationalism too, yeah.
Yeah, nationalism. Like I'm England, like German, whatever. Like you're very patriotic, and you're about the ethnicity of that group. Normally,
but then I would identify myself as a black nationalist, though.
Yeah, and that's true. Because the difference between black nationalists and white nationalists is that black nationalists don't seek out to kill or to oppress white people because they are white. Whereas white nationalists seek to oppress.
But does black nationalism still fall under the category of right?
That's a good question.
Because they see it as extreme.
They do try and frame.
I guess in the way of what these categories are, yes.
Yeah,
technically.
In that bracket.
Yeah.
Technically, but they do try and frame it like that. So in certain remember when Beyonce did Formation, and Black Panthers, and the dialogue was like the Black Panthers were the equivalent of the Ku Klux Klan. Ku Klux Klan is right-wing fascist.
Right.
They were trying to do that, but strictly speaking, it wasn't that. Right. So they do try and frame it like that, but we're not. Black nationalists.
Black Panthers are definitely nothing like the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah.
But that's how they. But black nationalists are not a hate group, and fascists tend to be hate groups. They hate another group. They hate others, generally speaking, and. In the middle, you have the liberals. So the Democrats and democracy. So democracy is what we don't live in no democracy. Let's be truthful. We don't live in democracy. But if we were,
what's on the left?
Left is communism.
Communism. Okay.
Left is communism, and so liberal democracy, capitalism. Capitalism is in there, but that's more economic structure. So. Capitalism tied in with democracy, tied in with liberalism, means that we all have the right to liberty, freedom of choice. That's why we have a choice of two parties or whatnot. We can vote, all of that kind of stuff. Democracy. You earn. You live from what you earn. So if you earn a certain amount, then you're able to have this and that and that. That's the basics of capitalism. Whereas communism is on the far left. That's and most people, when you say far left, you think of Russia, you think of China, you think of Cuba. Okay. Socialism is in between.
Cuba is still to this day, isn't it?
Wasn't Marxism a Russian thing?
But he's German.
He's German. Okay.
But it was adopted by Russia.
It was adopted by Russia. Okay.
But actually doing that for a very.
They were doing it. Okay.
But after Karl Marx, you have the Leninists. And you have Stalinists, and both of them are considered evil dictators. So they weren't really following. They were doing their thing. But the concept is liberal or whatnot. We have the freedom. Money is what runs things. So we have a hierarchy based upon money, and capitalism. The essence of it is if you have enough money, you can rise up the social ladder. If you don't, you're at
Marxism was very similar to capitalism.
No. Right? Marxism believes that equality is more important than freedom.
Yeah.
Capitalism believes that freedom is more important than equality. So in Marxism, it doesn't quite work strictly like this, but whether you're a doctor, cleaner, teacher, sports player, you all earn the same amount. If you think of communism, we all dress the same. We're all the same. We're all balanced out. And they tend to have one party, the government, and the government is there for the people. And that's the essence of what Marxism, communism is, and socialism is like a happy middle between liberalism and communism. So it's not strictly like everyone must be equal.
So I was hearing was that materialism, right? And I think I heard Walter Rodney mention that because there was a speech that I think Maya posted in the chat, and I was like, this one's helped a penny drop for me. I should have listened to it on the way here actually, because that would have given me some good refresh. But he was talking about that the idea is that ideas or thought comes from matter, comes from material. So the universe is material first, and then ideas come from that material, as opposed to, I guess, like a religious perspective, where there is an intentional mind which creates material. Yeah. So it was more that the material existed, and then the thought or the ideas come from the material as a result of the material. And it was something like nations have the ability to produce material, and what we produce is maybe not equivalent to our value. I don't think that's what he was saying, but is relevant within the context of how Marxism should be understood.
Okay. It's going to be created around the needs of the group that is forming it. Is that what you mean? No. That what is created comes from the needs of the people that are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. But more that the people have the resources around them to create things. So like for example, Congo has cobalt and coltan. Yeah, they have around them the means to provide the world with it. Obviously, the way that it's being taken from Congo is exploitation. Yeah, that's not what Marxism is. Marxism is that they have it, they have the material, and from that material, they can then have the thought of how they can use that material and get it out there. That was what I understood Marxism to be. That they have the thought that, boom, this is what we've got, and this is how we're going to use what we have. Do you know what I mean? So you have that cup, and you're thinking, I'm going to use this cup to make sure everybody gets water. Yes. And you have that plate, and I'm going to use this plate to make sure everybody gets food. Do you know what I mean? And I've got this tissue, so I'm going to wipe everyone's mouth after. And then we've all kind of got material, and we're all using that material to look after each other. That was what I kind of, but again, guys, chat, let me know.
No, that's an excellent breakdown. That is literally, but that's basically the material is for the people.
Yeah.
So it's the mindset of this is mine doesn't exist. Whereas in capitalism, this is mine exists.
Exactly. And this brought us to what you were saying earlier about how the enemy is not necessarily race. The enemy is like the people who are exploiting, the guys in the big chair who are exploiting all of us. They're exploiting black people, they're exploiting Indians, they're exploiting India. Do you know what I mean? They've raised India to the point where now India is in a bad way. Do you know what I'm saying? Well, not
for the people, for the masses.
They've recovered quite well.
No, I think for the masses though, because and Marxism is also about pointing out who's the pyramid, right? That's where I see
That's what I'm saying.
Right, the pyramid. So the underclass, who are extremely exploited, and obviously we know the model from slavery and slave peoples. That's not our history, but the history of the colonizer. And then you've got above the underclass, you have the lower classes, and then you have the middle, and then the upper, right? And then you have the elite, right? A tiny bit at the top that oversee everything. That's that pyramid that you might see on the dollar note as well in America.
Crazy.
Where they just make it obvious what they're doing. But yeah, my understanding also within that pyramid is the forces. This is capitalism, right? That pyramid is for capitalism.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's the elite above the forces, the police, the army, all those type of people to help keep everyone else in control. Have you seen that in Marxism?
Yeah. Well, yes, there is that
because he names each group and he names the proletariat or whatever the
proletariat. The proletariat is the masses.
Common man, the masses.
Yeah.
Right. And then you have like the underclass. These are like subhuman almost, but they're just there to do the work.
Yeah.
But as we approach the technocratic era, which is one of the discussions I was listening to when they were referring to Walter Rodney's writings, things are even needed to be adapted to acknowledge the underclass are even going to be unrequired.
Surplus to requirement. Yeah.
Because you've got now robots who are going to be doing the jobs of the underclass, and those are the people who do the cleaning of the toilets, the just all those type of roles are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Computers and technology is doing it.
Well,
so where does it leave that group of people?
Well, yeah, and that's a restructuring of society that we're seeing before our eyes. The universal basic income and all that kind of stuff, like social credit system, or now the money is changing. They're talking about money where money can expire, money can have rules, and the wait, before I say this, one read the comments.
Some comments, sure.
So Set Imhotep,
There's a lot.
Marxism isn't an ideology.
Okay.
IDT. Can we help abbreviation?
I don't know what IDT is.
Come on, poets.
No.
If you don't know, please Set Imhotep, help out, please.
I don't know what IDT is. So.
It's like a lens for viewing historical and contemporary events, dialectical materialism or something.
Okay.
All right, which you wrote down actually.
Representing historical contemporary. Okay.
Anthony, an excellent video to watch is Walter Rodney, Crisis in Periphery, Africa and the Caribbean. It's on YouTube. Gives an insight to his ideology.
Great.
Can we watch that? Can you write them down?
Yeah, let me just get that.
Thank you. We'll watch that after. That sounds like a vibe.
An hour-long lecture by Dr. Rodney.
It's an hour long. Oh, this is the same. That's the it was called Walter Rodney, Crisis in the Periphery, Africa and the Caribbean.
We got
Crisis
that?
in the Periphery, Africa and the Caribbean. Thank you, Anthony.
There are no communist countries. The statement is oxymoronic. Communism is a stateless society. All of the communist parties ran socialist states.
Right, okay, so exactly, you want to break down a bit of what socialism is as well.
That's left, you said it's left, right?
Yeah, well, it's left wing. That's when people are like, the left wing or are communist, it's the left wing. Communism is a stateless society. I'd love you to break that down even further. Yeah, what do you mean?
I mean, I guess in a technical, isn't it a technical way of looking at, technically speaking, you don't have a state as such when it comes to that, in the same way that you have states in the other ideologies. So, there was a battle between communism and what we're living in now, capitalism. There was a time where it was actually a real battle, and obviously all these wars meant that capitalism did win overall.
Yeah.
That became what we're all living in right now. But there would have been an alternative planet, and there were thriving versions of this communism living, as you mentioned, Russia.
But Russia is a state, isn't it?
Was it at the time? It was called the
USSR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a state, was it?
The Soviet Union.
Mm.
Yeah, is that not a state?
I don't know, technical.
Semantics and technical.
Yeah, I don't really understand that one there myself. Like, what does that mean? Set Imhotep, set us straight.
And China, right? China too.
And China is a state.
Was it called Communist China at the time? Wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's still considered communist today, even though technically we know it's not. But Anthony, this is capitalist exploitation and also racialized capitalist exploitation as it relates to African people and non-white people colonized by Europeans. Oh, I don't think it's IDT. Socialism is the path.
I don't think. Got you.
Socialism is the path toward a stateless society.
Mm.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying now. There is no country after full implementation of communism. Communist parties run socialist states and reorganize the means of production so that a state is no longer necessary. Got you. Right. So it's a journey to that. And there was no, like USSR, China, Cuba, they never achieved it. It was a journey towards it. So I guess self-sufficiency would be...
Africa's the only real place that could achieve that, couldn't it?
Well, maybe perhaps Africa did have that before, but my current belief system is that I'm not sure if people need leaders. I'm not sure if people can just like have the will or the desire to lead themselves.
If they're educated right from birth, no.
Even then, I don't know.
If they're born into a way of thinking that means that they are nurtured in that way, no, could they not?
I mean, even
that
then,
would be a leader that did that, right? Yeah.
But I mean, eventually, once like, you know how Che Guevara gave the people the power by giving them the educational.
Che Guevara was the leader.
Yeah, but I'm saying at a point, if
without
interruption.
But the interruption exists.
Yeah, it does. It does.
That's what affects the willpower.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
So you need.
So you're not saying it's impossible. You're saying that it hasn't or can't happen because of the environment. But you're not saying that humans don't have the capacity to do it. Just that our environment doesn't allow us to do it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Like, because the conditions are there. Like it actually does exist.
So obviously, we had golden ages. So
we've had golden ages.
Exist. Yeah.
Yeah, but in the conditions that it is now, it's like people do need leaders. They need leaders because there's levels of consciousness for a start and levels of willpower, and the revolutionary minds that we've been studying, they are the epitome of willpower. Like, they go through the same struggles that we all have, but they're able to rise and go above and beyond in a whole nother level because it's in them too. Whereas I wrestle with this concept, you know, sometimes, like, is it right to force people into revolution?
Right and wrong is a matter of perspective, in my opinion. You know, like, I think yes, because revolution is something that affects society as a whole, not that individual. So, or it does affect that individual, but you know, it affects us all. Do you know what I mean? So it's like if someone farts on the bus, do you know what I mean? I'm gonna open the window. Is it right?
Yes.
That's a matter of perspective. I think so. You get me? I
agree.
So.
It's right.
Like, we are all sitting in this stink, and I'm gonna make everyone clear it out.
Thank you.
Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna make everyone clear it out. Yeah, we can't live like this. Even if you want to just sit there because it's cold and you don't want to deal with it, I'll be the one to deal with it. I'll get up and open the windows. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think you have to do it.
Become the hero.
And then you become in 1,000 years' time, when they're writing my story, they'll be like, there was a fart on the bus and Nate was the guy that opened the window. But you know, at the time, they probably won't like me because I'm, you know what I mean, making everyone cold.
Oh, the analogy.
No, but you would be considered the leader right there.
I would be the leader.
Like, so there'll be somebody in that bus thinking, I need to open that, and they'll be like, I can't.
Well, they're overthinking it and they're not doing it. Yeah.
They're suffering
and smiling.
But yeah, like, I just think communism, in the journey to achieving the goal of communism, even though those were systems where millions of people were conditioned, educated with that mindset of communism, it still wasn't being able to be achieved. There's something about capitalism or what Europeans do with capitalism that makes it attractive, innit? Makes it alluring, like makes it like what people want. So the propaganda is the most powerful tool, as Malcolm X said about the media being the most powerful, and why the likes of Rodney would be stopped. Like, when you think about the extreme violent way that he was taken out, like, it's extreme to take, and that's because it's a great the mind.
We haven't spoken about it yet, actually. We should while we have time, right? We should probably come to that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sorry, can you pass me that tissue?
Yeah. Yeah, so Walter Rodney was betrayed. You know, after doing nothing but educating people and empowering his community, and you know, making himself available for discourse, he was betrayed. by, well, he was betrayed. I want to say he's betrayed by someone who looks like us, but we all know that the person who looks like us was a puppet for the people who are actually betraying him. But he was given a walkie-talkie to use, and he was sat outside his brother's house. If I remember rightly, he was waiting for his brother.
And his brother was next to him, right?
He was alone in the car at the time. Maybe his brother got up and left the car for whatever reason.
Okay.
Someone gave him the walkie-talkie and then come out the car, walked off. He's alone in the car. He's pushed the button, and the walkie-talkie was a bomb, and it's blown up and taken him with it. And that is how Walter Rodney's story ends. Well, actually, that's not how his story ends, because he's with us today.
Yes.
And this is where we are. But this is where his journey on the physical realm kind of came to its unfortunate end.
Yes.
Because Walter Rodney was 38.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's 38.
Yeah, you guys' age.
I am 38 this year. So when I think about how much more of my life I have ahead of me, like when I think of all these interesting things I'm learning now, and what I can do with it when I'm in my 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I can see myself like on the continent teaching people about Dandara dos Palmeiras and Walter Rodney, and do you know what I mean? I can see myself sharing all the things I've learned today in 20 years' time. And I feel like someone who was as much of an asset to our community as Walter Rodney, his death is a real loss to us all. I would say to our community, to our movement. So it really is important that we do things like this. Do you know what I mean? Where we honor him, where we study him, where we have discourse about him. No one's saying you have to be an expert. No one's saying you have to be a Rodneyist. Do you know what I mean? No one's saying you have to know everything there is to know about Marxism and this and that. But at least look at it. At least give it some time, give it some attention, because he deserved to live. He deserved more. We deserved to really get the message that he was trying to give us. So fortunately for us, as we said at the beginning, he's written a couple of books. He's written books for children. Yeah. He's written short books. He's written long books. Do you know what I'm saying? So he's left a legacy behind, which we are very grateful for. And I will be finishing the book that I started. I couldn't finish it in the month, not even close. But I will definitely be finishing the book. I might even start it again, honestly. I might even start it again and really go to town on it. I kind of was reading it and I thought, I'm rushing this and this is too much. This book is
a study book.
Hefty. It's a study book.
Yeah, it's a study book.
This book is hefty. I was like, I can't just read through this like that. It's like The Destruction of Black Civilization. I tried reading it and I was like, the first time I tried reading it, I was like, man, I need to give it like a year of sitting down and going page by page with this book. So definitely I'm getting the same vibe from you could teach a course. In fact, I believe they do teach classes, don't they, on how you're on that book.
It's a classic. It's an academic classic. It's an academic classic for sure. It's one of the pretty much any kind of conversation around learning about know thyself and such, or learning about what happened to Africa, that comes up top 10. I'd swear top 10 normally it comes up. How Europe undeveloped Africa by Walter Rodney. You're gonna find Destruction of Black Civilization. You're gonna find it on that list for sure. Want to add to that?
It's so important. We're doing poetry and reflection of all of these revolutionary greats, and these are going to be recorded. These have got to be used for when we're long gone, for people to be able to pick up and understand some of these heroes. And also within you, there are these callings to write about a vision for a better world.
Yes.
And I urge you, and I urge anyone watching who thinks about things like that to do so. Study these greats and follow in their footsteps, because you have to have the audacity to know that you can create something that is new, that's better for the future coming, because they will pick it up and they will action any actionables as well. I think that guidance is so important. So I just want to say that, you know, I think he was a very beautiful human and passionate teacher, and he wanted change in his time, and he was very active. So if you feel that within yourself, do it. And there's any age as well. It's never too late.
It's never too late.
Whoever that meets.
Very powerful point made. And Nate, when you were saying about 38 years old and how much like you think about when you're 50 and 60, it's like it's quite a humbling thought to think like when you, because it's, you know, sometimes we think we hit these certain age or like we hit 16 and we start calling ourselves old.
100%.
But even at this age, it's just like, I've got so much more to live. I've got so much more to contribute. I've got so much more to learn. And to think that a life was cut short, well, first and foremost, it shows how powerful Walter Rodney actually was, and his influence as well, and the dedication of life force energy, like life force energy put towards the upliftment of our people. And this is why we're dedicating our time towards such energies, because it's nothing more selfless. Walter Rodney has not met any of us. We're not in his own personal bloodline, but still he knew, just like all of them. They know that they're putting their lives at not a theoretical risk, like a literal, practical, like they know. And
that's crazy. Yeah.
Yet they still carry on.
Yeah.
Like, when you really think about it, like they know. And they still go ahead.
Yeah. But so is there more that you guys want to add? Because we want to kind of keep it quite short.
I think that's it. I think that's been a good hour. I could talk about who we're doing next, unless you want to add anything else to wrap up.
No.
Okay. Next person we're doing next month. So we're honouring the divine feminine. You get me? We're honouring the divine feminine. Who recognises this beautiful woman's face? Yeah, this is the next person we're going to be studying. This is Fumulayo Ransom Kuti.
Come on! It's a
fellow Kuti's mother.
What?
Fellow Kuti's mother, Fumulayo Ransom Kuti, the next person we're going to be studying. So I feel like I don't want to underestimate, because I underestimated Walter Rodney. I can't lie, you know. But I feel like within the month, I should be able to get some good information. You know, she's done a lot of powerful pioneered things,
stuff that influences even.
And she raised an absolute titan. You can see the power of the tree when you look at the fruit. Yeah, so I am definitely really looking forward to being raised by Fumulayo Ransom Kuti this month.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? I'm very much so looking forward to that. I would encourage any of you guys who are interested in joining us, please do so. Write her name down, watch some YouTube videos, find what you can find, pick up whatever you can pick up, you know, but that is who we're studying for the next month. But first, you know, we're going to be sharing our poetry about Walter Rodney. I haven't even started my poem yet. So I'm going to be getting onto it this weekend. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what Dr. Yaya Santo has to say. Being of Guyanese heritage, you know. So what's Anthony saying here? Though Dr. Rodney embraced socialism, he never gave up his African-centered base. That's what he said earlier. In 1972, at African Liberation Day in San Francisco, he addressed African identity. Yeah, man.
Beautiful.
And that's why we're here. That's why Walter Rodney's on the list. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if he wasn't pro-black, then we probably wouldn't be listening to what he has to say. You know? if I'm being real, do you know what I'm saying?
In all truth and honesty, I don't think Kimbunga media would have us on.
You know, innit? Probably won't be listening to what he has to say, man. I mean, you know, that's not to say that people who are black can't say intelligent things. Of course they can. But, you know, we are definitely studying within the context of race-first ideology, of African identity, of, you know, learning from each other, learning from our greats and our heroes and sheroes and our scholars and our revolutionaries. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're on. So
just some shout outs to end.
Mm-hmm.
It's been great having this chat with you both and all of you who joined us today. We'll be back next month with the same programming schedule around the same.
You're gonna join us next month, Nate?
Yeah. What, here?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Let's see. Hey, this don't know now. Listen, if there's food, you know what I mean? If there's food, then very, very likely.
that's the incentive. But yeah, we have individual events coming up. So if you want to shout out your event.
Yeah, I've got a couple of events coming up. So well, obviously Revolutionary Minds event this Sunday. I also let me get the date. Oh my days. I am performing at Culture Mark's birthday, which is definitely gonna be a one for the books. I gotta say that I've written something completely new. So I've got a brand new track that I have written. Where's the date? Here we go. So for those of you who know Mark Simpson, he runs Black History Studies, www.blackhistorystudies.com. They do like tours of the British Museum, they do tours of Egypt, and they do like different Black History tours. They do they do courses, they do they invite guests over and have like one-off lectures. They've been doing bits for the community for as far back as I can remember. And I've taken one of his courses, and from then we've got very close. That is family. So he's asked me to come and perform at his birthday. So he runs a radio show, and the theme of his radio show, or like his catchphrase, is "The message is in the music." The message is in the music. So he's doing the message in the music unplugged, and that is going to be on Sunday, February the 23rd, from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday, February the 23rd. You can find tickets on Eventbrite. The message in the music show, live and unplugged. Tickets are 20 quid. Sorry, I thought I wasn't that still. Tickets are 20 quid. Yeah, 25 £5 for the early bird and £30 for the general admission. So yeah, come through, come and check it out. Come and hear some new music. I've got a whole new verse for you guys. And I also run another event which is astrology themed. So I'm also an astrologer. I'm really working on decolonizing what people call astrology today. When people hear astrology, they often think of Greek, you know, for understandable reasons. But again, I'm race first. So I'm very conscious of not just kind of regurgitating Greek astrology, of, you know, knowing the stars as well as I can. And in that, let me not take too much time. In that, I've started an event called Conversations with the Constellations. It's on the third Sunday of every month in Hackney. You can find us on Instagram, C with the C, because I couldn't fit Conversations with the Constellations on there. So each month, all of the performers are of a certain star sign. So next up, we've got the Pisces event. So all the performers that are coming are Pisces. Man, we've got Letitia Writer and Priscilla. So I'm so excited for that. I'm very much so looking forward to that. I would definitely recommend anyone who's able to check us out, come through, send me a DM, come to the event. Yeah, that's what I got next. And you guys?
Where do we begin?
Tomorrow. Probably tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Hidden Science, Black Love. It's an all-day event. It's you might as well, if you want to read this, get the essence of Black Love, then do come through. It's £75 a ticket to experience the whole day and the after party. It's an investment because you're really going to learn. You're just going to learn. You've got a top tier educators in the land. They're international, in fact. These are speakers that can go anywhere in the world and stand out. So we're talking about the investigator, brother Andrew Muhammad. We're talking about the hidden science king, Leon Marshall. We're talking about
Charmaine
sister.
Simpson.
We're talking about Charmaine Simpson, the other whole to
Mark Simpson,
Culture Mark.
Yeah, man.
Who's also going to be there actually. He's DJing.
Come on. All right then.
You've got to Dr. Sis, aka Dr. Sandra Richards. She's another powerful titan. We have got the Black History man, who everyone will know. So on that list, yeah, we got Walter Rodney's How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. You've got Chancellor Williams' is Destruction of Black Civilization. You've got Sheikh Anta Diop. You've got John Henrik Clark. You've got Ivan Van Sertima. You've got Dr. Ben Yochanan. You've got
Robin Walker.
George J.M. James.
George J.M. James. What?
You've got Robin Walker on that list. You've got When We Ruled on that list. But Robin Walker is going to be there in person.
I'm giving you these
and
flyers.
He is going to give thanks. And he's going to be doing a presentation on Black love. And have I missed anybody else on that list?
Oh, wicked, yeah. No.
You were not tuned in.
Sorry, maybe that was my fault. I was that. You know what? I realised you were going there tomorrow, and I've got loads of Walter Rodney flyers left.
Yes.
So I was like, you know what? Everything must go by Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you're going to be in a room full of people tomorrow. That's the day to give all of these out. I don't need any of them. Do you know what I mean? I might keep one for myself.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. There's going to be a whole and you can make it a weekend though. All right, so we're going to get to the next event after, but Nate's already said. So the Auntie Jean's African Culture Market Sunday, Stella also said it as well, documentary, Revolutionary Minds will be dropping verses to do with this. But yeah, all of those great speakers, Andrew Muhammad, Robin Walker, Leon Marshall, Charmaine Simpson, Dr. Sis, and Davis J. Williams, who is the Love is Just a Verb, Naked Truth, Dr. Sis Sandra Richards, Davis J. Williams as well is going to be is a motivational speaker, educator, helping young people transform their lives, and helping families also transform their lives. All these speakers are going there, and it is hosted. It's hosted by the power couple, Stella B and Nat Nine, the Lyrical Alchemist. So it is going to be a special event. And then the next day we've got Auntie Jean's African Culture Market, and then on Tuesday we have got Poetic Temple at Queen of the South Pub. There's an open mic. This is a event that celebrates the power of word. And so the thing is about spoken word, I really want to emphasize the Revolutionary Minds. What we're doing here, right? Is when we are studying these greats and we're turning it into spoken word, it becomes more than just a study. It becomes a part of us. It becomes a part of our expression. So when you actually then vocalize it in the spoken words, you're actually putting that energy into the world. So there's one thing about writing, which is what we definitely encourage, but then when you actually vocalize, you're actually doing your part to transform the world, or you're evoking their energy into the world. Do you know what I'm saying? And when we're collectively doing it, it's even more powerful. So that's the essence of what Poetic Temple is all about. It's about expressing ourselves truthfully, authentically, honestly, and also in a fashion that we can heal, enlighten, or empower. That is what we do at Poetic Temple. So that's on Tuesday. That's at Queen of the South Pub, which is Black owned. It's a sister pub to the Prince of Peckham. And then on Thursday, we will both be performing at the Africa Centre in recognition of the Berlin Conference, the X anniversary. What was it?
180, 100 and something.
100 and something anniversary. Will be recognised on Thursday. So we're going to be doing some poetry, Stella and I, at the Africa Centre.
I didn't know you guys are doing that. That's really cool.
Yeah. Called in.
Yeah.
And that's it for now.
Hey, bring fire for that,
Oh, the goddess of African goddess.
Oh, okay. How could I? All right. So at the Africa Centre as well. So we've been doing monthlies at the Africa Centre, Poetic Temple, poets, people of extraterrestrial substance, and we've been doing themes. So the first theme was people of extraterrestrial substance. The second was Afro Futures Now. The third was Mansa's Gold, and the fourth, this one coming up, is African Gods and Goddesses. So we're going to be dispelling the myths, and we're going to be tapping into the power
And
of
we have
our
a
spiritual belief systems.
surprise takeover from
We're doing a collaboration.
Adiche Atelier. They are a power couple on
Another twin flame power couple.
doing their thing, teaching and educating about all of these histories
I love
through
it. Together.
art.
I
They're
love it,
amazing.
I love it, man.
They break down the orishas. They do beautiful art together. They literally paint together, and they're going to be painting live at the event, which is just phenomenal.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, do get your tickets. They're just £10, 20% of which goes towards the African Centre's fundraiser.
We're looking to raise
So-
£6,000. Our contribution to their 6 million.
Yes, so please, yeah, there's so much there. Watch this back if you need to record it and get it done. It seems to be at all of these events that we just mentioned. And we're wishing you a good month for the rest of this. What is it? March we're going into now.
Well, February to March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May you all be well and blessed, and your families also.
Come on,
So,
Black Power.
Special give thanks to Anthony and Set Imatep for your contribution. You really did add a lot to
We
our show.
value you for being here and watching. Thank you so much.
100%.
All right,
Peace.
power to the people.
Mm-hmm.